my outside voice, but if you can't hear me, I'll just holler.
I have one if you need it for your voice.
Okay. If y'all can hear me, I'm good. You're all good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, like she said, my name is Bailey Gunter. I am the campus recruiter at BMSS. I am a JSU alum, so I graduated from Jacksonville State in 2019 with my bachelor's degree in accounting. So, you know, I used to say I wasn't too far removed from you guys, but then I look at my my calendar and I'm like, well, that was 5 years ago. So, anyways, so I'm here today to tell you all about the great things going on in accounting, my journey through accounting, how I got to where I am today. This is going to be really interactive, so if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to speak up. I won't answer anything you've got today, but I do want to start with a few questions for you guys before we get into my background, okay? So, can anybody in here tell me what an accountant does? Not everybody at once, right?
Maddie.
Yes.
They work with money and then keep the money in a business organized.
Yes, that's a good start. Good start. Did you say your name's Maddie?
Mm-hmm.
Maddie, you get a Starbucks gift card for answering. Yes. I've got a little bit of fortune. Pass that down to Maddie. Awesome. Okay. Can anybody else elaborate on that? Anything else that an accountant does? Yes, in the back. I saw your hand first.
They basically are taking financial records and actually what's the word for it, like journalizing, or if some might not know, is basically just taking a record, writing down what you have spent, the income and outcome of your expenses and the cost and all of that.
There you go. You were using lots of good buzzwords there. Journal entries, revenue, income. All right. Y'all gonna have to watch me walk all the way up here. Okay. One more question. So, can anybody tell me the two major components of public accounting? Yes.
It'd be, public accounting and CPAs, external audits from the United States. I guess it'd be based on taxes and stuff like that.
Okay. That's good. That's good. I'll give you a gift card for that, but I'm going to elaborate on that, okay? So, accounting has two major components here. We have public accounting, which is what I went into directly out of college, and then we have industry accounting. So, not a lot of people know the differences between. So, I'll tell you a little bit about that. So, like he said, public accounting does have also two major components. We have taxes, where we have to do government regulations. Everybody in the United States has to file taxes, but not only individuals, but businesses as well. So when I was in accounting, I was kind of majorly business tax related. But then we also have the audit component of it. And so that's where every business in the United States has to have a set of financial statements that are audited by somebody independent of them. So I know that all sounds foreign to you guys. So can y'all raise your hand, accounting majors? Ooh, ooh. Okay, finance majors? Awesome. Okay, management? Yeah, marketing? All right, creative brains. Econ? Okay, awesome. Any undecided? Cool. I'm gonna change all your minds today. All okay? Awesome. So, another question. Can anyone tell me what months of the year are busy season? I saw your hand. You got it. Really January to April, but we don't ramp up our hours until February. Good job. Okay, thank you all for your participation. So let's talk a little bit about my background, and then we'll dive into all things accounting, okay? So I told you guys I graduated with my bachelor's degree in accounting from Jacksonville State. When I graduated high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I was always good in math, always good in numbers. My parents were like, you could totally do accounting, and I'm one of those people, I make up my mind and I don't change it. So I declared accounting as my major, really loved my principal's class, kind of questioned my life once we got to cost accounting intermediate, but y'all hang in there, grass is greener on the other side. But anyways, went through all of that, graduated, and my senior year, I did an internship with BMSS out of their Birmingham office. So the importance of an internship, you guys, if you don't know what you want to do an internship, because it is really, really going to tell you whether or not you are on the right path. So I did an internship with BMSS out of their Birmingham office. A lot of you guys will possibly be going to meet the employers. Yes? Okay, awesome. So I'll see you guys next week at Meet the Employers, but I attended Meet the Employers my first semester of my senior year and met BMSS. And so we have a Gadsden office. Just to tell you a little bit about BMSS, we're a top 100 accounting firm in the United States. We are number 86. We have a little over 300 employees, over 10,000 clients, and we have 4 office locations. We're out of Gadsden, Birmingham, Huntsville, and then Ridgeland, Mississippi. So I am currently out of our Gadsden office, but at the time I did the internship, they only had Birmingham spots available for an internship. So drove to Birmingham every day, really, really loved my internship, and it really kind of solidified for me accounting was it for me. And so, like I said earlier, I really encourage all of you to go out, do an internship, really solidify and verify your career choices. But anyways, did my internship spring semester of my senior year, graduated in 2019, and at the end of my internship, I signed a full-time offer with BMSS out of our Gadsden office. So one thing to note about BMSS is we train our interns to hire, meaning at the end of your internship, we really hope to give you a full-time offer at the end. So luckily that was my case. I signed for our Gadsden office. Good thing about BMSS is we have what's called a one-firm mindset, meaning no matter what office location you work out of, you can work on any clients based out of any of our offices. So lots of access at your fingertips there. So started my full-time job January of 2020 with BMSS, and we have something at BMSS called General Track. So a lot of you accounting majors next week, y'all are going to be asked whether you want to do tax or audit, and that's kind of what we talked about earlier. The components of public accounting, you've got tax, where you're doing taxes, government regulation, and then you have audits, where you're auditing financial statements for businesses. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. I don't really know how in the world you're supposed to decide when you don't have any experience on either of them. So luckily BMSS has a program called the General Track, and it's where you get experience in both during your internship and your first couple of years as a staff. So went to my internship, did about 4 week-long audits. The rest of the time I was doing taxes, and went into my internship thinking that I was really going to be an auditor, just because of the nature of it. You're out of the office, you're in a team setting, you're mingling with clients. I'm a really social person, so in my brain I was like, yeah, auditing's going to be it for me. Did my internship and never wanted to see another audit ever again. So there's just so many differences between the two. I told y'all earlier, once I make a decision, I'm sticking to it, and I felt like audit was way too vast of, using your imagination with things. I wanted something that was black and white. I wanted something to be right or wrong, and so with taxes, I felt like I could do that. And so spent my first year as a staff on the Gen Track doing a little bit of audits. We do something called lower scope audits, lower scope assurance. It's reviews and compilations. So earlier, my friend in the back told me, recording income, all the good stuff. So on these compilations, I would compile financial statements for businesses, and then at the end of that, I would do the tax return for that business. So everything just flowed really nicely for me there. I really loved being in the tax world, so declared tax my second year as a staff. And then what happened in 2020? Right? Okay. The world shut down, didn't it? And you would think, that was such a time of uncertainty where people were like, what's going to happen with my job? Am I going to be, working in the office? What are we doing? The government extended all tax deadlines that year. So busy season was no longer just for that year. It came back the next year, unfortunately. But I got really into PPP loan forgiveness. Don't know, that's probably a foreign term for you guys, but during COVID, businesses could get loans. They were called Paycheck Protection Program loans, where they could get a loan from the government in order to keep their employees. And so kind of got out of the tax world for about a year and a half doing just PPP loan forgiveness. And so that sounds like a boring term, doesn't it? It was horrible. And so anyways, I got a little burnout on that. And so kind of decided, what do I want to do? Do I want to go back tax? What do I want to do? Anyways, fast forward about a year and a half. We had a spot open up on our HR team doing training and development for our firm. So earlier, my friend right here said CPA, right? Can anybody tell me what CPA means?
Certified public accountant.
Yes, sir. So certified public accountant. So we currently have 151 CPAs at BMSS. So my job in the HR team, when I switched over from tax to HR, I was training and development coordinator and integration. So for those 151 CPAs, I tracked every single one of their CPEs. So in order to be a CPA in the state of Alabama, you have to get 40 hours of continuing professional education. And one of the benefits that a lot of you guys will hear about when you're going into accounting is that BMSS tracks that for our employees. A lot of other places, you're just kind of set to fend for yourself, but BMSS does that for their employees. And so I was in charge of that. I did all of our training schedules for our interns and our new hires. I did onboarding. I did all of our training schedules for our current CPAs. And then I helped out on campus. So traveled to a lot of campuses. I told you guys earlier that I really am a social person, which is really weird because I liked tax, where you sit behind your desk most of the day and you're by yourself. But anyways, I really loved the campus recruiting aspect of it, and so they sent me to campus anytime we had an event coming up, and so now I'm our head campus recruiter. We visit 16 different campuses across the South, including JSU, obviously. And so my busy seasons now are fall and spring. I come to all the job fairs. I come to class presentations like this to try to sell people on BMSS and the accounting profession in general. But that's kind of my story through accounting. I know a lot of y'all think, she was an accountant, now she's not. That must mean, right? No. Yeah. So I'm here to tell you guys, no matter the major that you choose, your path is going to be really clear once you start doing whatever job you're doing. And just remember, whatever job you start in doesn't mean that you're going to stay there for the rest of your life. You're going to have tons and tons of opportunity to network with folks, and you're going to get on the right path, and you're going to find the place where you're going to use your talents to the best of your abilities. And so don't think that your major defines the rest of your life. If you would have told me when I was sitting in your seats that I was going to be doing something different than accounting every single day, I would have said, no, I will be doing accounting for the rest of my life. If you would have told me that my second year as a staff, I would have said that as well. But here I am. I recruit people to be accountants, and I really love it. And the reason I do it is because I really believe that accounting is such a great major. You can do absolutely anything in business if you know the language of business, which is what you learn in accounting. So does that open up any questions for anybody? Yeah.
I have 2 questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
Do you have your CPA?
I do not have my CPA. Luckily, I don't know if y'all have heard about the CPA exam, but it's a 4-part test. really, really hard. A lot of people say it stands for can't pass again. But a lot of people, you know, in order to sign a tax return in the United States, you have to have your CPA license. In order to sign off on financials, you have to have your CPA license. So we really encourage anybody that comes through our firm to get their CPA license. Luckily, I was at the point where I was trying to decide if I was going to go get my CPA, and then the Lord really opened up a different door for me. And so I was like, okay, thank you. I don't have to take the CPA exam. Let's go this way. But we have a lot of programs at BMSS that really help our professionals get to that CPA designation. We have a program called the 150 program. I don't know, let me scroll down on this so y'all can see my cute graphic that I spent hours on, my marketing majors. I commend you for your creativity. This took me forever and ever to come up with. So anyways, we have a 150 program. In order to be CPA certified in the state of Alabama, you have to have 150 hours of studies under your belt, a lot of them upper level accounting. So when you graduate, you're going to have anywhere between 150 and 130 hours with your undergrad. So what BMSS does is we fully pay for you to go back to school to hit that 150 hours. We pay for all of the study programs for you to study for the CPA exam. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Becker, but we use the Becker study program. We pay for that for our employees. And then once our employees pass, we give them a good $5,000 bonus. We say, good for you, you get lots of money, and you get CPA attached to your name. So, all of that to say, no, I'm not a CPA. Another question though.
So you started out in the tax, like you did the tax one, and now you're in HR.
Yes.
So do you still ever do any taxing stuff, or is it just HR now?
At my job, I am just HR, but my friends and family seem to think that I will always be an accountant and that I can do their taxes whenever. So I still do it around tax season. I'll do my friends and family tax returns, do all that stuff. My husband actually has a business and I run the books for that. So you never know what life is going to throw at you. So having that background and being able to run stuff like that and know the language of business is really important. So still use my brain a little bit there, but majority HR while I'm at BMSS. Good question though. Anybody else have a question for me? Yes.
What does it require to be an intern at BMSS?
Yes, that's a great question. So, in order to be an intern at BMSS, we normally do internships during your spring semester of your senior year. You have to be declared an accounting major. Obviously, you're doing it before graduation, so no degree required. So that's really the requirements, is just an accounting major in your last semester of your senior year. But let me tell you this, that I didn't know when I was going through recruiting. Recruiting has stepped up a little bit, and we are currently recruiting for spring of 2026. So recruiting is super early. So once you get to that last semester of your sophomore year, first semester of your junior year, if you're an accounting major, you really need to start thinking about what I'm going to do internship-wise.
Are there other accounting companies that do internships here?
Yeah. So we, like I said earlier, we're hosting Meet the Employers next week, and there will be lots of employers there that are offering internships, whether that be public accounting or industry accounting. Good question. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I know COVID really changed a lot of companies and how we approach the workforce. How does BMSS approach flexibility and working locations?
It's a great question. So flexibility is a huge thing when I'm recruiting on campus and experienced hires. Now everybody wants to work from home. Everybody wants the option to work from home. So luckily, BMSS was really ahead of the game when COVID hit. When you're hired at BMSS, you get a full at-home setup, meaning you get the 2 monitors, you get the docking station, the keyboard, all the things, so that you have the same exact setup that you have in your workplace at your house too. And that's just because BMSS was really founded on, we call it life-work balance because we think that life should be first. And so since we were founded on life-work balance, we really want our employees to have the option to have that flexibility. So giving them an at-home setup gives them the flexibility to be at home when they need to. A lot of our employees have young kids. They'll leave the office at 2:30. They'll go pick their kids up. They'll do dinner time, and they'll hop back on at night to get their hours in. BMSS really has a mindset of you are a professional. You are going to get your work done, and if you don't, then that's when the conversation needs to happen. We don't think we should control anybody's hours or anything. So as long as you're getting your hours and getting your work done, BMSS really gives you the flexibility to work when you want to, and really have the flexibility to work from home if you need to. So, on the days that I'm on the road, like coming here today, I plugged in. I went to the office first because we had a coffee truck in our Gadsden office this morning. It is the 9/15 deadline. I know it's the 16th, but 15th fell on a Sunday, so it is the extended deadline for business tax returns today. So all of our accountants were really busy, and so we got a coffee truck to come to the office this morning as a little treat. So I stopped by, got a coffee, talked to our professionals, and then got on the road. I will leave here. I will go plug in at home when I get home. So you have really the flexibility. That's the great thing about accounting too. You can do your work anywhere. We have an employee that works out of our Birmingham office that has family in Hawaii, and she was like, you know what? I'm gonna go spend the summer in Hawaii with my family for 2 months, but I'll still work. And she got her work done. She logged on when she could, and no questions were asked. So you get really good flexibility with this profession. But that was a great question. Luckily, COVID, we were prepared for it, as in we could work from home before that, but COVID really gave us the kickstart to tell people, this flexibility is okay.
And that's what I love about having you, and especially BMSS, is that it kind of, in our class, we talked about some of the misconceptions that I had as a student of accounting, and what it was and what it could be. And I think you guys do a great job of combating that misconception,
Yes.
right? We all think it has to be the introvert, right? That sits alone at their desk, stressed because of the tax deadline. Today's, business taxes are due, coffee, constant work, but that's so much more. And whether you're introvert and that's what you want, that's great. If you're extroverted and prefer, different options, whether you're auditing and meeting new people through, your audits, it's really, there's something for everyone, I think.
There really is. And I'm glad that you said that, because has anybody in here heard that, accountants do nothing but work 70 hours a week during busy season and then have no life outside of work? Does anybody have any family in accounting, public accounting? All right, so y'all have seen firsthand, when I was going through accounting at Jacksonville, my parents were like, are you sure you want to do accounting? And I was like, yes, Mom, quit, I'm doing this. So, they were just thinking, the general misconception of introverts do accounting. You're gonna be busy all the time. You're not gonna have a life during busy season. You're gonna hate work because you're working too much. You're gonna have these deadlines. And yes, we have government deadlines that we cannot avoid. April 15th is the individual tax deadline. March 15th is the business tax deadline. So yes, we are very, very busy during that time. But BMSS does a really, really great job of allowing our professionals to have a life outside. And so what we do during busy season is we cap our hours at 55, meaning you're not expected to work anything over 55 hours during busy season. 55 hours might seem like a whole lot, but there are other accounting firms across here that are working 80 hours a week, 90 hours a week, 75 hours a week, which is basically your eat, sleep, breathe accounting, right? You think about it, there's barely over that many hours in a week. So we cap our hours at 55. Our leadership team did a study where, your brain is not as good as it could be once you hit that 55-hour mark. And so they say, 55 is going to be our cap. Anything over that, that's fine if you think you can do it, but a lot of our professionals, once they hit that 55, they're out of there. So that's just a way that we allow our professionals to have life outside of work. When I was an intern, our hours were 60 hours a week. Luckily, they brought that back up by 5 hours. But if you think about it, if you want to work Monday through Friday, that's 12 hours a day. That's getting there at 6 a.m., leaving at 6 p.m. So 55 hours is not too bad. We don't have required weekends. A lot of firms that you'll talk to will have required weekend work days. We don't do that. We believe that you should make your schedule. But we do a lot of HR initiatives at BMSS. We call it the Exceptional Employee Experience. And a lot of those components are so that, you know, we know that you're going to be working a long time. It's unavoidable. But us as an HR team want to make your experience the best. We want you to come to work saying, yes, I've got this going on today. Yes, my firm does this for me. So, as part of that exceptional employee experience, we have something called homeroom systems. So, does anybody remember in high school when you would like report to homeroom to take attendance? Yeah, okay. So, we have a similar structure at BMSS called homerooms, and each group has a homeroom leader, which is a member. So, what a member is at BMSS, it's basically a partner, an owner of the firm. We have 34 members at BMSS, and all of them have a homeroom group. It's made up of about 8 to 10 folks that are in the same department as you, and you have weekly meetings. So you hop on a Zoom every meeting, or it might be an individualized one-on-one meeting, but they check on every employee in the firm, and all of our employees rate their week 1 to 5. So 1, like, this was the worst week ever. 5, this is the best week ever. It could never get any better. And so the reason we do that is because that's how we keep tabs on all of our employees. So if any of our employees have a 2 or below, so a 2 or a 1, they're required to report it to our HR team, and we check in with them personally, and we say, is this professional? Do you have too much work on your load? What's going on? You know, how can we help you? Is this personal? Do you want to talk about it? How do we help you there? Just so that we can have that employee retention there, because a lot of folks at other firms, you know, you could be working all of these hours and have a ton of work, and you know, your supervisors or your HR team would never know because they're not checking in on you, right? And so we check in weekly with our employees as part of our exceptional employee experience. But also part of that homeroom group is we have monthly homeroom lunches. So you go out with your homeroom once a month, out of the office, go to some fun lunch for about 2 hours. And then every quarter we have something called homeroom outings, and it's where the homeroom goes, does something fun. We do Top Golf, we do cornhole tournaments at our members' houses, we do all of these fun things. And it's just a way to kind of network outside of work. You guys are going to be with your coworkers a lot more than you're going to be at home. And that's just the nature of any business. You've got a 40-hour work week. You know, I get home 5:30, and you know, that gives you what, 4 hours or so, depending on if you like to go to bed early, to eat dinner, hang out with your family. But at least 8 hours a day, you are, you know, with your coworkers. And so our thing at BMSS is if you love where you work and you love the relationships that you've built with your coworkers, then you're going to produce good work, right? So we really try to do all the things that we can to promote those relationships with your coworkers of, you know, let's go play Top Golf, let's go do this. I want to know who you are outside of work. What's your family? Do you have kids? You know, and so we do lots of family activities too. We have a Fall Fest coming up in Gadsden where we bring it out Fifth Street Market. We're going to have a cornhole tournament. We're going to do all these fun things. Their kids are going to come. Their spouses are going to come. We're going to have a good time. We have a Christmas party every year. We have a Thanksgiving dinner every year. Our Gadsden office just did a murder mystery night where all of our spouses came and we did a murder mystery in Gadsden. It was pretty cool. But all that to say, we do fun things so that people will love where they work, so that they will produce good work. Does that make sense? When I was making the switch over to the HR team, you know, and I figured out, like, you know, I don't know if accounting is like it for me. I was so just internally conflicted because I loved BMSS so much, but like I wasn't sure if like accounting was that for me forever. And luckily BMSS has something called Right People, Right Seat. And so, you know, we believe anybody we bring in the door and hire is a right person. They're a good fit for our coworkers, our community, but we want to make sure we find their right seat. So very lucky that BMSS has Right People, Right Seat, and that's how I found my right seat. So, any questions about the exceptional employee experience? Another thing we do, you know, tax season, I told you guys April 15th was the last deadline of busy season. We stock all of our freezers with Brewster's ice cream, unlimited, and so all of our employees not only get unlimited ice cream, whatever flavor they want, but they also get the BMSS 15. So y'all talk about freshman 15, we call it BMSS 15. We provide lunches every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so folks don't have to get out of the office to go get lunch. We have a fully stocked snack break room with all the snacks, all the drinks. We have an employee that is called our employee experience specialist, and her job is literally to make sure that everything is stocked with the snacks that you like, everything is stocked with the drinks that you like, you are getting exactly what you want for lunch. So it's just crazy the amount of things that BMSS does for their employees and that exceptional employee experience. So there are a few benefits at BMSS that I want to point out for you guys. Let's do a time check. Okay, we're good? Okay. So we have a program called Flex 40. So what that is you can work your 40 hours in 4 days and take whatever day of the week off you want. And so that happens between May 1st and December 31st. Paused during busy season. Obviously, we're not working our 55 hours in 4 days. That's wild and insane. But that is just another way that we allow our workers to have life-work balance. They can work 10 hours a day, Monday through Thursday. They can take Fridays off. They can take Monday off and work their 40 Tuesday through Friday. I personally, you will never catch me in the office on a Friday. So I hate it for them, but you'll never see me there. A lot of people will take, they'll flex, we call it flexing. So if you look at my calendar, every Friday says flex. And so a lot of people will take a flex on a Friday, and then they'll flex on a Monday, and they can take a long weekend trip without taking any PTO at all. So great, good benefit. Not a lot, you don't hear that a lot in the accounting profession. We also start our workers out with 160 hours of PTO. Which is wild and insane. That's 4 weeks of PTO. So on top of your Flex 40 and possibly getting, you know, every Friday off or whatever day you want, we have a girl in the Gadsden office that takes Wednesdays off. And I'm like, Debbie, why are you taking Wednesdays off? And she's like, I never have to work more than 2 days at a time. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So anyways, you get all that PTO, you get all the Flex 40 days that you want. You can really flex the week how you want to. A lot of times our professionals will do 4 9-hour days and take a half day on Friday, so really flexible there. And then we also get 3 volunteer days per year. They're fully paid. We have a program called BMSS Legacy. It's where we have created a committee that gets together once a month, and we plan firm-wide serve days where we go out in the community 1 day in the spring and 1 day in the fall as a firm, and we serve different charities around the community, whichever office location we're in. So we get 3 volunteer days a year fully paid. So if you think about it, you're getting 4 weeks of PTO, 3 volunteer days, and then your Flex 40, which is a lot of time off. Who says accountants work too much, right? Any questions about any of that? Yes?
So you said that you guys only require 55 hours a week as opposed to 80 in some places.
Yes.
Is that only during busy season?
Only during busy season. You're
And
40 hours the rest of the year. So what we do during busy season is, you know, obviously January through April is our busy season. But, you know, you get there January the 2nd, we're off on the 1st for holidays. Oh, also you get 10 paid holidays a year, so include all that in that, right? But you get there on January 2nd. All of the work is not going to be there that you're doing for a busy season. You gotta wait on clients to bring their information in. You gotta call them and say, this is what I need from last year. So it takes, you know, a couple of weeks to get that work in to where you can really start grinding it out. So the first couple of weeks of January, we're just at a 40-hour week. Our interns are coming in, we're training them. Our new hires are coming in, we're training them. We spend about 2 weeks training our interns, hand-holding all the things, teaching them how to do everything from scratch. And then it's about the 4th week of January, 1st week of February, where we will add 5 hours to the week. So we'll go up to 45. The next week we'll go up to 50. The next week we'll go up to 55. And then from there, we'll be 55 until March 15th. We take a week off and have a 40-hour week after the 15th of March, and then the rest until April 15th is 55. So kind of wean you into the 55. It's not just like, all right, 15 more hours a week, go.
Yeah, that
So-
might hurt a lot of people.
Yes, yeah. So, and with the flexibility, like BMSS also is not like, you have to be here at 8 o'clock. You know, you can mosey on in whenever, you know, not whenever you want to. You can't just be like, hey, I'm here at 10. We have core hours 9 to 3, so you're required to be available between 9 and 3 on the days that you're actually working. So gotta be at the office by 9. A lot of folks that are crazy and insane in the head like to get there at like 7 and then leave at 3. So not me. I'm like at 8:30. Good morning, everyone. But good question. Anybody else? Yes. Anybody know where Chicken Salad Chick is in Gadsden? Yeah, we're right behind Chicken Salad Chick on the golf course. So anybody that wants to come work with me, we've got a good view of the golf course. Okay. You had a question too?
This was more of a like just accounting question in general.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to do a financial, all your financial documents?
So that really depends on the size of the business. You could have somebody that's got 10 accounts on their financial statements. That could take you 30 minutes. You could have a multi-million-dollar company at BMSS that it could take you 30 hours. So really just depends on the size of the company. Luckily, our jobs have what's called budgets. So every year they evaluate after the project's done to see how long it was taken, and then they'll set a budget for next year, and that kind of lets you know your expectations. Yes?
Are the hours different for tax accountants and auditing accountants?
Yes. Well, auditors have kind of a fluctuating busy season. So their busy season lasts until April the 30th. So their hours will kind of go like this. Tax is normally 55 majority through the January through April. But budgets are different for tax returns than they are audits, because in an audit you're only doing one component of the financials. In a tax return you're doing the full thing. Anybody else? Yes?
So what's your schedule like during the busy season with your HR?
During my busy season or the actual like January?
Actual like tax season.
Okay, listen, I have a busy season too, sir. I'm just kidding. So my schedule during January through April, we have a bunch of career fairs in the spring too. So this past spring, we have a program in the summer called the BMSS Summer Experience. And so I was on every campus getting that word out about the summer experience that I could. So, you know, I could be in the office helping out our employee experience specialist with all the things we've got going on with the lunches and all the things. I do a lot of coffee chats with students during the spring. That's kind of the time where I can visit campus, sit down with students, learn about them, talk about what they're looking for. Like I said, every school has a Meet the Firms too, so there's at least 16 days in there where I go to a certain Meet the Firms or Meet the Employers or career night or whatever. So I'm not working 55 hours during the busy season, but my busy season is really fall right now. Last week I had 4 events. The week before that I had 7. I was in Ole Miss, I was at Mississippi State, I was at University of Alabama, I've been to Auburn so far. So there's just Lots and lots of events going on. We keep a record of all the students. I call them, I email them, see what they're looking for, go through our applications, all of that stuff. This past spring, this past June actually, was our first year doing our BMSS summer experience, which, let me scroll up and show y'all my graphic so that y'all can be proud. Okay, ooh, pretty, right? Okay, so our BMSS summer experience, we don't offer summer internships. And that's just because our professionals are taking vacations. We have our Flex 40 program, so they're not always in the office. People are flexing on different days. It's normally a ghost town in the summer, so we don't really like to bring interns in because there's not a lot of help that you can get. There's also not a ton of work. We've just grinded it out for 4 months. Now we get a little break before we pick it back up in the fall for these deadlines for September and October. So anyways, we wanted the opportunity to give students something to do with us in the summer, because a lot of them are student athletes. A lot of them can't do spring internships. So I came up with a program called the BMSS Summer Experience. It is a 4-week program offered in all of our offices during the month of June. You spend 3 days a week with us, and you rotate between our different departments every single week. So first week of June, we focused on HR. Second week, we did assurance. Third week, we did advisory and social. And then fourth week, we did tax. And so you kind of get to rotate. It's paid job shadowing and relationship building. So you're not really doing client work, but you're getting to know BMSS and really immersing yourself in our culture. And you're getting paid to do so. So I don't know what the issue is there. But that was this past spring was our first year promoting this program. So I was really on campus promoting our summer experience, going through all those applications. Last year we had 65 applicants for our summer experience, which I thought we'd have like 4. I was like, maybe we can get 2 people in here to like see what we do every day. Ended up having over 60 and ended up hiring 15 folks. So they had a really good time with us in all of our offices. We had 2 in our Ridgeland location, 4 in our Gadsden office, 5 in our Birmingham office, and what am I missing? Huntsville, 4 in our Huntsville office. So that summer experience is offered for our sophomores and our juniors. But I did want to plug something that we have for underclassmen. It is called What the Heck is Public Accounting? Does anybody feel like that? Like, what the heck is public accounting? Not after today, because I told you right? Okay. So anyways, for all of my accounting majors, or really just anybody that is interested in being an accounting major, we have something called What the Heck is Public Accounting, and it's where we literally tell you what the heck public accountants do every single day. And so you come into the office for a day. I don't have the dates on here. We're having it in December this year. We're offering 1 date in our Birmingham office and 1 date in our Mississippi office. But we bring students in for the day. It's normally about 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You come in and we have speakers all throughout the day. So we'll have 1 member from our tax department tell you about what a day in the life looks like for them. We'll have 1 member from our assurance/audit department come and tell you what life looks like for them every single day. All the industries that they work for, what to expect, all the things. This past year we did what's called an internship panel. It's where I had about 5 folks that had completed an internship with BMSS come into the room, and they literally sat at the front and everybody could just ask them questions about day-to-day life of an internship. What do I do during an internship? What did you do? What was your experience like? So internship panel has been really successful there. You have lunch with a lot of our professionals, so you go out to lunch at the next restaurant, get to know our staff, and then in the afternoon, this past year we did like a treat with our members in the afternoon, so you got to meet all of our members out of our Rover Chase office. So if that's something that interests you, you guys can go to bmss.com/careers/campus recruiting, and there's a button down here under What the Heck is Public Accounting where you can apply there. I'd love to see you guys there so I can tell you what the heck public accountants do every single day. But does that pique any questions for you guys? Yes.
I got a question. So, your tax accountants,
Mm-hmm.
how do they keep up with the tax law? Do y'all go to professional development, do y'all go to Washington, or do they send the information to you?
Yes, so we have a group at BMSS called our AD team. It's our audience development team. And what they do is they get speakers from outside to come in and teach tax law. We also have a bunch of tax professionals that are really specified as, tax law specialists. And so it's their responsibility to kind of keep up with that. We have a lot of research programs too. And we have PD kind of every week during tax season to make sure folks are up to date on that. Good question. Anybody else? No? All right. So I have brochures. If anybody is interested, you guys can come get a brochure. It's got all of our recruiting events on the back of it. It's got a QR code on here that'll take you directly to this website. If y'all have any questions about campus recruiting, y'all can always reach out to me. I have a bunch of business cards if anybody wants it. But y'all come and y'all watch this video on my campus recruiting page, okay? I spent a lot of time on this video, okay? So you'll get to see all the fun things we do in recruiting there.
Let's not pack up yet, guys. Remember?
I'm not done.
Yeah. Let's not pack up yet.
Okay.
Sorry, Bailey.
No, you're good. Does anybody have anything I can answer for you before I wrap up my time? I will kind of stand in the back with business cards and brochures if you guys want one. Yay. Okay.
Good question.
Yes. Okay. Good question. Good question. So I was in the accounting club here. Beta Alpha Psi was not really big here. There were like 4 people in it when I was here. I also commuted from Gadsden. So lived at home, commuted about 35 minutes to class. So wasn't super heavily involved on campus, but I did have a job at home back in Gadsden. I was actually a dance line coach for 3 years for my high school alma mater. So did choreography and coaching for them, really loved it. So that was on my resume. But when we're looking at resumes, what stands out to us is, involvement to a certain extent. Like, don't overextend yourself to where your GPA suffers. But at BMSS, I really try to make a personal connection to everybody that we're talking to, and you're not just a resume. I'd rather hear about your experiences from you than a piece of paper. But it's always good to have things on your resume, being involved. I really, really promote being in Beta Alpha Psi, just because, they get pretty much first dibs on a lot of things. We connect with a lot of Beta Alpha Psi students. We come to a lot of their meetings. Beta Alpha Psi from JSU is actually going to have a BMSS night where they're coming into our Gadsden office for the night. We're going to have dinner, we're going to play games, we're going to do all the things. So I encourage getting involved, but just know that you are more than your resume. So, any other questions? All right. Well, thank you all for your attention.